medical school bills. You have, the cost of running your business. It becomes like every other. It becomes like the stock market. It becomes like anything else where you're just thinking about numbers. You're not thinking about people, and it's not your responsibility. And the crazy thing is, then they would shame the people when there was a strategy they had to say, "Oh, you're a drug addict. It's not the pills aren't a problem. You're a drug addict. You're an addict." Yeah. And the people would be like, oh, I'm a drug addict. Like, no, they turn you into one. Everybody's a drug addict. If you give them 20 fucking pills a day, they all become drug. Every human being, human being, if you give them OxyContin all day, they will become that.
Everybody has the ability to be addicted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I believe
everyone.
That,
I think everyone.
I had a wisdom tooth taken out like a decade ago, and this doctor was so nice. He was like a cool, smart guy. And he's like, I'm going to send you home with these 12 Vicodin or whatever they were. And if you feel pain, take 1 or 2 of them. You'll be great. And I started to feel pain like 4 or 6 hours after. I remember it was the day that the WWE Network came out because I got it. I'm like, this will be fun to watch, catch up on old stuff, which it was. It was amazing when that debuted. But anyway, so I have that on. Pain starts kicking in, and I take a half of one, just a half. And 20 minutes later, I just start sweating and smiling like a super villain. I mean, I could not take the smile off of my face. I was just in glory. And immediately, I'm like, this is bad. And even though I had never been happier, like my body was just, it was like just an overall orgasm for the entire mind, body, all the way down to your toes. Your fingertips are sweating with excitement. And I went and I flushed those other 9.5 or 11.5 pills down the toilet.
News,
I knew immediately. I'm like, this is trouble.
Good for you.
I mean, even if I would have taken the whole one, I probably would have been. I could have changed my fucking entire life right then and there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't around when I got my first knee surgery, but when I got my first knee surgery when I was in the hospital, they had me on a morphine drip, and I remember lying in that hospital bed feeling so good. I was like, this is amazing. And I had a ACL reconstruction where they did the patella tendon graft, right? So, they cut your knee open, they take a slice of your patella tendon, and then they screw it in where your ACL used to be. And then they have you on this constant motion machine while you're in the hospital bed. Right. So this thing is extending your knee and closing down. And then you had a button, and you hit the button, and the morphine drips. And I'm just lying in bed. I should have been in agony. And I'm like,
No, wait a minute. There had to be a limitation to what you could pump,
imagine.
Right?
I don't know. I mean, we're talking 1993. I don't know.
There might not have been a limitation back then.
That was my first one. And my second knee surgery I got was in 2000. My second ACL reconstruction I got was in 2003, I think. And maybe 4. And that time, I didn't take anything. I was like, I'm not taking shit. Because I don't like the way those things make me feel. I don't like it, and I'm scared.
Well, I like it too much.
Yeah, well, I had friends in high school that were addicted to drugs. So before I was 30 years old, all I did was drink. I would occasionally have, I'd smoke pot maybe like 6 times until I was like 30 years old. And then when I had surgery, I was like, I just associated pain pills and that stuff with your life falling apart. Luckily. Because I know how good it is. Peter Berg was talking about that. He took one recreationally, and he's like, this is amazing. He's like, oh, my God, I can never do that again. Because it's just too good. It's too good. And that's the problem. Too many people that get hooked on that stuff, the problem is their life is shit because they've been a drug addict, and then they get off of it, and so they're super depressed because their life is terrible because they've wrecked their life, and the only thing that makes them feel good is the drugs.
It's a drug. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
And no one can tell you any different. No one can fix you. You got to kind of do it yourself. Your family can tell you you got to stop doing drugs. You're like, yeah. And then you go buy some, and
it's all you. Yeah.
And it's wild. It only takes one charismatic, smart-sounding, seeming doctor. Because I've always avoided drugs as well, and it was just one orthodontist that's like, no problem whatsoever. Just take one of these. It's gonna be. You have no worries, no problem.
They'll give them to you even if you're not in pain. That's what's crazy. I had a nose operation, a deviated septum fix, and my doctor prescribed me 2 different kinds of painkillers. Wow. I didn't take, and I was like, I'm not in pain. And he's like, but you might be. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm not filling this.
Yeah.
He's pushing them on you.
Yeah, he was pushing them on me. He
They
was
know
telling me
what's
to
up.
take them.
These guys want to be one of the 12 doctors on a
Yeah.
list.
Well, if
and
you
get their kickback.
if you're supposed to, like, those numbers, you got to keep those numbers coming in. They'll come to you, hey, buddy, what's going on?
So